It's time to protect your friends and family because Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol are out now on PlayStation 4, Switch, and Xbox One. And the reactions have been, well, a little mixed. Could it be that these classic top-down action games have lost their bite? Or are the so-so reviews in line with what critics thought back in the day? To celebrate the recent release and do my part for the neighborhood, I've decided to pour through classic issues of Electronic Gaming Monthly, Die Hard Game Fan, Super Play, and GamePro to see what 1990s critics thought of both Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol back when they first came out. Look out for that giant baby because we're gonna find out if these 16-bit greats deserve their status as bona fide cult classics. Although it's never actually scary, Zombies Ate My Neighbors was a love letter to the cheesy, goofy, and downright silly horror films of the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and hell, even the 80s. With references to Night of the Living Dead, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, Friday the 13th, The Fly, Them, and dozens of alien invasion movies where the UFO is clearly dangling by a very real string, this was a veritable who's who of the monster movie world. It was basically Cabin in the Woods 20 years before Cabin in the Woods came out. Now, as you can imagine, this killer premise was a big hit with pretty much every magazine and critic of the 1990s. If you watched my countdown of Electronic Gaming Monthly's best and worst reviewed games, then you already know that this Konami great ranked as EGM's 6th best game of 1993. It also won their Game of the Month prize in August, with Martin calling Zombies Ate My Neighbors an instant favorite. Resident Fake Ninja Sushi X raved that this adds to the few horror games that are out there and really shows off the humor in horror movies. To top it off, there's a 2-player mode along with great graphics and control. EGM wasn't the only magazine to fall in love with those neighbor-eating zombies. Die Hard Game Fan's Tom Slick was quick to call it one of the best 2-player games money can buy. It is so rare to get this level of quality design that it makes you really appreciate when it does happen. His cohort, Sergeant Gamer, echoed those thoughts, calling it an instant classic that is a must-buy. Now, in case you're wondering, Zombies Ate My Neighbors was also a big hit with the critics across the pond. Superplay compared it to games like Smash TV and Operation Logic Bomb before giving it an 89%. If you liked the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies, then you'll appreciate this game. Even if you don't, you'll still find an innovative shoot-'em-up with lasting appeal. Fellow Brit Meg SNES Force agreed, praising that there's never a moment that goes by without some horrific situation to comprehend with hardly any time to gain your composure. It's frantic, funny, comic horror at its best. In reality, every critic who reviewed Zombies Ate My Neighbors in 1993 came away impressed. In fact, the lowest score I could find was over at Nintendo Power, who gave the game a 4 out of 5. They liked the great humor and fun graphics, but complained that most of the zombies are pretty mindless and don't present a lot of challenge. Look, even if not every critic was ready to call it the game of the month, it's clear that there was still a lot of love and admiration for Zombies Ate My Neighbors back in the day. This is certainly a cult classic for a reason. Released almost exactly 1 year after Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Ghoul Patrol was not met with the same level of excitement. While not a complete misstep or anything, it was painfully clear that everybody was a little bit disappointed by this follow-up. Electronic Gaming Monthly didn't even bother to give it a proper column in the review crew. Instead, what it got was this small paragraph written by Mike Wiegand, who may have called it a worthy sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors and a great salute to old late-night horror movies, but still gave it a score that is a full point below the original. This is a franchise that went from being the game of the month and EGM's 6th best reviewed game of 1993 to being little more than an afterthought and an issue that gave us full reviews of Balls 3D, The Page Master, and Brutal. Yeah, that animal fighting game got a full review, but not Ghoul Patrol. Die Hard Game Fan was also disappointed in this follow-up, with Nick Rocks giving it a big, fat no and concluding that, well, one time was a charm for the Zombieverse. Why is this? Well, Takahara explains it this way. When the prequel to this game came out last year, it was one of the most talked about games at GameFan. Now, a year later, JVC attempts to do nearly the same thing without the original team. This little nugget of information, along with the bad gameplay, ended up haunting this sequel as it made the rounds at all of the classic magazines. Now, for what it's worth, Ghoul Patrol did have plenty of fans. GamePro gave it a 4.5 out of 5 and called it a worthy successor. Good ghouls, good graphics, good fun. Ghoul Patrol is the closest you can get to the acclaimed Zombies Ain't My Neighbors. Superplay also liked the game, giving it an 82% and concluding that it's a gigantically entertaining, if small, silly gauntlet with impeccable presentation, but then noted that it's a slightly disappointing sequel. Still, even if the critics felt a little let down by the speedy follow-up, Ghoul Patrol still ranked higher than you might think. For example, EGM may have given it a lower average of 7.8 out of 10, but it was still their 4th best reviewed action game of 1994, below only Mega Man X, Earthworm Jim, and Castlevania Bloodlines. Ghoul Patrol may not have been an instant classic like Zombies Ain't My Neighbors, but it was a fun game that received reasonably high scores at the time. I'm gonna go ahead and let you decide if it's a cult classic or not. Hey, thanks for watching us break down the reviews for Zombies Ain't My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post a whole bunch of this style of magazine coverage. So go ahead and check out some of our Electronic Gaming Monthly and Nintendo Power playlists. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite zombie game? Also, do you plan on picking up the whole zombie and ghoul collection? Or have those mixed reviews scared you off? Let me see your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back tomorrow with a bonus Game Over episode starring a certain super spy. No, not that super spy. You'll see. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,